Alright, how's it going, lads? We're back again for another discussion on One Piece 1098 and 1099. We're going to talk about the both of them because I was missing last week, but we're going to talk not in order. I'm just going to ramble on about different things to do with with the flashback as a whole, really. Just going to ramble on about it. Sorry, I've been inconsistent with the videos lately, both the podcast and this and the written videos. I need to get footage for that next one. But college has been getting in the way, but hopefully I've got a manage on it now, so hopefully things will get more consistent in the coming weeks. If not, it will definitely happen during January when I've kind of gone into the second semester and got a hang on everything else. But with that being said, no more of my shite. Let's get into One Piece, baby. Alright, so I'm loving Kuma and Bonnie's dynamic. It is just fantastic. I'm loving everything about it. Kuma feels so genuine, you know? I've known very few people like Kuma in my life. I've known about two or three, and one of them is my own mother, right? I'm not going to talk details about them for their own privacy, but honestly, it is. There's only so many people I know who are like so kind to their core that it's detrimental to themselves. And I've not had a character in media that reminds me of my mother so much, you know, so sacrificing and so caring, you know, in that regard. And it's nice to see, to be honest. I'm sure a lot of people can relate their mothers to Kuma as just so, you know, dedicates themselves to their child so much and cares so much about them, but is also really kind to everyone else. It's like an instinct they can't control. So it's nice to see, because I don't see it that much in anime. A character I can relate to my mother that isn't, you know, weird in some other way. So it's nice to see Kuma the way he is, and I like Kuma that way even more now in that sense. And Bonnie, of course, is just adorable. How she cares so much about Kuma and all the funny shit she gets up to. There was a gag in this chapter where she tries to turn out old, and it's like, "Oh, you did it!" And it's just the old lady queen, and it's just like, "Oh, you did it!" And and one of the villagers just grabs the old lady, and he's like, "Oh, dang it, I didn't do it." I don't know. I found that hilarious. I was just getting. I just found that quite funny, and I think Bonnie's relationship with Kuma is just, it's great, because it reminds me of so many things. I'm not gonna lie, and I think it's really endeared me to her character, you know, and like to think of how much, like, just to think of the context of everything, right? She went off on a pirate journey at like the age of 10 and did all the stuff she's done and competed with the supernovas so young. Like, her potential is off the charts right now. I'm sure we're going to find out she has some sort of cybernetic enhancements. They even hinted it in this chapter where Kuma goes, "You're going to turn her into a cyborg." And he's like, "Nah, nah." Vegapunk's like, "Oh, no, I was just comparing the price." But there is probably going to be some enhancements. But if not, man, she is like Momonosuke levels of potential. Like, you know what I mean? Insane levels. So fair play to them, and I think they could be top tier contenders. It would be interesting though if Bonnie and Momo are like, we're not going to get a sequel, but they're similar. They're similar age, right? So Bonnie still might be quite young when if we ever do get a sequel or like some sort of epilogue chapters, and so we might still get like Bonnie having a proper journey because her main focus was, you know, helping Kuma in that journey, so she didn't get to properly enjoy it. And it'd be a nice epilogue, to be honest. But I do think we're gonna get more to her character, and I still think about the idea of Luffy just coming in and saving her like Nika, you know, in that sort of way, like Dragon does for Kuma, or seems to have done, in the sense that Kuma really appreciates Dragon, thinks he's like gonna free the world, right? But if him or Bonnie get to see Nika in the flesh, I think they're gonna, love it, you know. But I don't know. I just really like that idea. But one thing I'm so happy about when it comes to this chapter was Dragon getting more characterization. He keeps talking about don't live your life with regrets, my friend. You know, and he talks about it all the time and that level of freedom. So he obviously has that same level of ideal freedom that Luffy and Garp have, but he also thinks in a way he needs to be more methodical about how he does it. And it's kind of going against his nature, but he lets all his revolutionaries live their own lives in freedom, but he doesn't take away from the mission to try and protect them, because he's like, they're living their freedom. I'll let them live their lives, but we're not going to interfere in that regard until the mission is complete. And I'm sure it messes up with him a lot. He's going to be a very jaded character. I'd say he might be one of the darker characters when we get to see what his backstory is later on in the story. And it's just getting me more excited. And it's nice to see him very emotive, right? To see Dragon have this emotion and have this care for other people and to be looking out for Bunny, you know. Godfather of the Year, my guy, alright? Alright? Number one Dragon stan, alright? I can't lie. So it's been very good. And obviously it was very tragic what happened to Ginny and stuff. But again, as I said, Dragon has, in my opinion, sort of gone against his nature of protecting people, the people he cares about, and he's reframed it as I let them live their freedom and I don't interrupt it. I let their lives play out and they get to choose their freedom, but their freedom cannot interrupt the freedom of everyone else that we need to fight for that do not have their freedom. And the reason he doesn't attempt to save people is because they lived their freedom. In his opinion, they became part of the Revolutionary Army. Now he's got to focus on protecting the world's freedom from Emu. And I wonder if we are going to see him I think it's a definite that he's going to show up in Egghead. And I think he's going to lose his shit. I really do. I think Kuma's going to die in front of him. And he's going to see Bunny crying. And he's going to do it's going to be a Luffy help me moment, but with Dragon and Bunny. Like, not in that way, but he's just going to go over to Dragon or to Bunny and he's going to touch her on the shoulder or touch her on the head or something. And then he's going to turn to Saturn with like blood rage and eyes. Be like, you bastard! And just like literally whatever his power is, but I just imagine like a massive swing punch and he knocks him through the island, hopefully killing him. I think it'd be a perfect end to Saturn's character to have Dragon kill him. Like I was talking for a while at the start of the arc that it would be, you know, Blackbeard, because it would be a parallel to Luffy and they both would have done it. But I think now it's just perfect for it to be Dragon because of how much suffering he has caused Kuma. I have never hated someone as much as I hate Jay Garcia right now. Even Charlos I don't hate as much because Charlos is a scumbag. But the man is so scummy. I hate the guy so much. But he is like unaware of it. You know what I mean? Whereas Jay Garcia knows everything. He's a smart fella and he's still as scummy as he is. I want that guy to get proper suffrage. You know what I mean? And I think Oda, that's what Oda's really good at. He can make you like a villain, but he can also make you really hate him. Like Orochi, you know? Characters like Orochi and Jay Garcia and Charlos, all the Celestial Dragons. He's just so good at making you so viscerally hate a fictional character. Like realistically, that's very hard to do. Right? Because fictional characters are fictional characters, right? So it's very hard to get someone to care so much to absolutely despise them, right? Because hatred is honestly, to me, hatred's a very limited thing. But man, Oda's just brilliant. You gotta give him credit for that in so many ways. And oh man, Kuma's just my guy, bro. He's so good, and I love how they use him, bro. I really do, and I wasn't expecting to love Kuma so much. Now I have to really think about where I place him in terms of how much I like him as a character in comparison to all the others, because it's still very tough for me. I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, top 5 immediately," but I feel like because of what happened with Kaido. Although I do like Kaido a lot more and I sat with what happened and I kind of understand it, and again, as I said, got screamed at by a mate. The downfall, in my opinion, wasn't as bad. And obviously Kuma's getting the Odin treatment, but still, we know not to be too excited and expect something to happen that might ruin it, you know? So I'm just keeping, sleeping with one eye open, as they say. I can't really do it. I can't wink for my life, bro. I'm trying. It just doesn't work. I just look weird because I have a lazy eye. People said you can't see it in the videos. You can see it in the shorts, though. Yeah, it's not as bad in the videos, to be fair. But nah, it's an insane. I think we have to see Dragon do that. I think Dragon raging at Kuma's death and actually wiping out Egghead. Like, imagine if that was why they had to flee, why the Emperor Luffy had to flee, because Dragon's rage was so uncontrollable. You know what I mean? He's been bottling up, he's been allowing his officers to get taken into prison. They even mentioned that Ivankov was gotten into prison and Azuma, right? He's been letting so many of his officers suffer for years, and yet he's just sitting here bottling it up, and then he sees Kuma, who was protecting his daughter, die in front of his eyes, and he just goes, and he snaps. And we're not even going to see any of Dragon's backstory this arc. We're just going to see that, and Dragon's power, whatever he has, just completely erupts. You know, the entire island, maybe even Luffy, you know, just kind of get weak in the knees, and everyone else gets knocked out. You know, his hockey is so strong, his rage is so strong, and he just batters Jay Garcia to the ground, like Whitebeard did with Akainu. Do you know what I mean? That's the stuff I want to see. That's the stuff I'm really excited for with this. But primarily, going back to the actual chapter itself, though, I do like that Kuma has a really good relationship with Vegapunk very early on. You know, like, they didn't know each other for years, like, they just met, but they're very clearly, you know, very easy to get on with. Kuma's a very easy guy to get on with, you know what I mean? He doesn't really hate anybody, so he's very chill, very charismatic, right? And I do like the way how everything Vegapunk does is corrupted by the government itself. And I don't understand. I understand he wants, you know, the funding. But the guy seems very naive, and I wonder how they're going to approach his naivete, and if that's what gets him killed in the end, because he's so naive and he kind of falls for all the government schemes. You know, although he is playing them in a way, is that what Shaka is? Is Shaka that person who's less naive than the original Vegapunk? So he's the one calling the shots now. Is he actually dead? I don't know if he's been confirmed dead. He got shot in the head, but I haven't really heard if he's dead or not. And because we haven't seen a body, you can't say that for certain with Oda, can you? I will say though, one small annoyance with this chapter, we didn't actually get to see Kuma's bounty. I'm actually proper raging with that. Why wouldn't you get to see Kuma's bounty? It can't be that unbelievable that we don't deserve to see it. I don't really get it, but hey, I'm sure we'll get it in an SBS or something. I would have probably just drew it that way and forgot. He's been saying that a lot. He said that with the age fruit in the last SBS that got translated. He said that with kids fruit. He was like, what? I haven't said that. Like, bro, surely after 2 times you get your editors to write down, you know, lads, just read through the chapters for me and remind me if I put it in or not, you know, so I can just double check. Yeah, cool, boola. All right, pay an extra tenner. Cool. You know, that sort of thing, yeah? But I don't know. Personally, I'm just really excited for Kuma or Bonnie to see Nika in action. Because I don't think Bonnie has seen it, because otherwise there would have been such a big thing about it. Because Nika's been mentioned so much in this flashback. You know what I mean? About the the soldier liberation and all that, right? He's that big, powerful force. And I like how they're building it up. And for Luffy to just completely not care about it, right? Because that is what Luffy's about. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, you're my friend, I'll look after you, right? And I like that about Luffy. I feel like there's going to be this big expectation about what he has to do in the final war, and he's just going to, you know, completely go the opposite direction. And I think that's what I love about Luffy as a whole, and about what he's about in this story, and why I'm not too worried about him having that kind of savior, you know, whole thing going on with Nika and all that. I will say it is a bit weird, you know, that Fisher Tiger did not save Kuma from Mary Joa at the time. He would have been there at the time of Fisher Tiger. It is Fisher Tiger, isn't it? Or is it, no, Ginny? Ginny, yeah. That's a bit weird. Or does the timelines not match up? I don't know. Still though, I'm a bit, I know I talked about this in a short. This is the last thing I'm probably going to talk about in this video. It's Bonnie's biological dad has to be someone that we either know or some big bad celestial dragon that's going to come up in the final war. But I would actually like it to be Charlos. I know we thought, because not only would it make him more despicable, it would also make it so we can have him actually get his final gag of getting the shit kicked out of him by Bonnie in retaliation for all the stuff the celestial dragons have put his father and her mother through, and she's just so angry at him. It might even be the time he kicks the bucket, and I think that would be the perfect time to end the gag. You know, at the end of the series, when Oda can be a bit more violent, because he can use the end of the series as an excuse, right? And that's what I'm really excited about. But with that being said, I'm gonna call it quits for today, and I'll see you all next time.